Well, the day is upon us. I'm going to take my first shots with my Uberti 1862 Pocket Police. As you can see, I've got a target set up. I've got the 2-inch bullseye a little high on the paper plate, and I have a 1-inch square colored off at the bottom. That'll be my aiming point, and to the best of my ability, I'm going to take the V-notch in the hammer and put the front pin just so that it's just at the curvature of the front sight. Now, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I've showed before, I have it loaded right now with 20 grains of Schuitzen. And you might be wondering, well, why are you shooting Schuitzen when you have your homemade powder? Well, the last rendezvous, Frozen Foot, as I mentioned, I took first place in the rifle range, but the prize was 2 pounds of Schuitzen. So that's what I'm going to be shooting right here. Number 11 percussion caps, 20 grains, as I mentioned, at least I think I mentioned, with a pre-lubricated felt wad. And as I mentioned before, and as I showed, at full cock, there's very little travel left in the hammer, so I'm kind of thinking it's going to shoot just a little bit lower, not as high as these revolvers typically do. And we'll see what happens. One other thing that I did do to the cylinder, once I got done reaming it with the 3/8, I also went back with my chamfer tool to open up the throats just a little bit. As most of us know, there's not a whole lot of room on these cylinders that have these little decorative cutouts. So I'm going to get my earplugs in and my safety glasses on, reposition the camera, and we'll take the first shots. And yes, it's a beautiful day here. High temperature of 43 degrees, but there's just a slight breeze. Sorry about it, but it is New Mexico. So let me get my earplugs in and situated, and we'll take the first shots together. Okay, I have the Track of the Wolf cones in here, and as I showed in the previous video, they're a lot shorter in height than the Uberti factory cones, and I'm thinking, like most of you probably already assumed, that the height of the cone is too short, and that's why these are not going off the first time around. Okay, that's all 5, and no cap jams. So let's take a walk up and see where they impacted. From here, I don't think they hit anywhere near the red circle. Nope. I'm going to take a walk up closer, just see if I can determine where they impacted. Well, it looks like everything still went way high. My point of aim was obviously that 1 inch square at the bottom of the plate. This time I'm going to aim at the bottom of the 2x4, try to keep everything in line with that 2-inch circle, and we'll see where they impact. Get back to that one. Cap jam. Well, it looks like it's still hitting just above the pie plate, but you can see that there's a pretty good group right there. I'm going to get up closer and see what she really looks like. Well, I think everybody can see that the group's not half bad. You can see all the fresh wood that's been splintered off. I was actually aiming the bottom of that board. So you can just see how high this particular gun does shoot, but for the most part, I'm pretty impressed with the grouping. So I guess maybe this time I'll aim at this lower board right there and see if I can at least hit the target. I don't know how well the camera can pick it up, but it looks like I'm going to have to work on the forcing cone just a little bit, because I've got a shiny spot right in through here and right in through here. That tells me that the forcing cone's not cut square. So once I get the gun cleaned up and everything else, I will probably take some sandpaper to that. There again, I don't, well, you guys might be able to see a little bit of that sun reflecting at least right there. Alright, this time I'm going to use 18 grains, and I'm going to aim at the very lowest point of the 2x4s and see where she impacts. Well, I can tell from the bench, which is 16 yards, that I did hit the paper plate very close to the bullseye. And there's the 5 impacts. Now, as I said previously, I was aiming at the very, very, very bottom of that 2x4. Not the one that's on top of, but the one that's screwed directly to the piece of plywood. So I guess you guys can probably see, since they're 3.5 inch, it's 3, 6, 9, 12, shooting about maybe 14 inches, 15 inches high. But as I've said before, I really don't want to do anything with the sights until I get about 100 rounds through it. But with these small pocket pistols, there's really not a whole lot anybody can do with them. So if you go over to the channel, Duelist 1954, Mike Bellevue, he actually featured an original 62 Pocket Police that he acquired. It's about 4 months back from the date of this particular video. And if you pay attention to when he's loading that particular revolver, you'll see that there's a dovetailed front sight in it, and it's much, much taller. That's something that I might think about doing. I might just be able to unthread this like I did on my 51 Army San Marco and thread in another taller pin sight. But like I've mentioned before, and even in this video, not till I get about 100 rounds through them, I kind of want to work out, you know, some of the issues, such as redoing the forcing cone, or, you know, making the forcing cone flat, because as I showed, obviously there's some really bright spots on it and things like that. But all in all, 18 grains as opposed to 20. I'll probably just stick with the 18 grains. And also, just to let you know, for the sake of argument, my chamfering of the cylinder throats right here did not cut off any lead rings, which means my 3.380 round balls are swaging into the cylinder. So when I shoot this thing, I'm actually shooting a true .380 round ball, not a .375 with a couple thousandths of a lead ring shaved off it. Does that affect the impact? Well, you can look at the sight or at the target and see that it's not half bad for just kind of like guessing the point of aim, since I had aim about 14 inches below that bullseye. So anyhow, friends, thanks for watching. Any more updates with this particular revolver, I'll do another video. What I do have coming up shortly, I hope soon, is I'm at the last batch of the gunpowder that I'm making with City Water. I've got 2 more pucks to break up and corn, and then that'll be the 3 gunpowders that I'm going to be testing. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and to share this with your bestest of buddies. Bye.